Hello all you hardcore boxing fans out there, how you doing? It's Big Porky here, and still the voice of hardcore boxing, and well, I'm still here. just need my legs sorting now, neck's a bit not so bad now. I think I've got my plaster off my finger, and to put a hot needle through it, you know, blood come out. Hand's a bit better as well, my right hand, so alright, it's hello? Oops. You're an effing idiot. Oh, that's women for you, innit? Hang on. Hello?
You alright, Paul?
How you doing? I wonder which phone you rung me on then. I'm alright. How are you doing, Scott?
I'm alright there. How are you recovering?
I'm alright, I'm okay. I've got me neck brace off today, so I'm okay.
So you're back on the mend?
I'm back on the mend, I'm getting there, I'm halfway back. You can't keep a good kid down, can you, I suppose?
You can't, mate, no. You've got to keep cracking on, haven't you?
Yeah, I've got to keep cracking on, and you know, I'm alright. You know, how are you anyway? Are you alright?
Yeah, plodding on as we do, mate.
Plodding on?
Working, trying to move an office, moving my office, you know. Usual rubbish, innit, you know, but you've got to do it.
Sunny today, innit?
Lovely, innit?
Sunny, lovely and sunny.
It looks warmer than it is.
Yeah, it's yeah, it does actually. Yeah, it's not as warm, is it? But it's got a nice sun to it, and
makes you feel a little bit happier.
Yeah, I've been laid up. I've been out today actually to the doctors, but I've been laid up and just jotting a few ideas down, and making most of the time stood still. Had a bit of a tidy out in my bedroom. The t-shirts I found today that I've worn once or twice, so I've got a good summer rig out now. Once washing machines, yeah. So,
no wardrobe needed.
No, I've saved myself some money. I think I've got one of them mentalities where you wear a t-shirt 2 or 3 times and you don't. You feel like you need a new one. It's like I'm not that with trainers, but it's just a waste of money, innit? And, you know,
it is really, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a fair look if you're going somewhere every day. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pulling my belts in a little bit, because obviously channel's not generating anything hardly, and you know I've got to go steady, because I don't want to be bailing out at channel in about 2 years with egg on my face, when really I could go another 5 years if I wanted to, and that'd be about it, I think.
You can cost some money at that, can't it?
Yeah, it's not time consuming, isn't it, and with the expenses and messing about and that. It's
time is money, isn't it, as well? So
yeah, it's I give Frank Warren respect now for setting up Box Nation, but mine's nowhere near Box Nation. But no, I do think that it's a little bit. There's a bit more to it than meets the eye at the moment. Because like I said, when Coogan and them set theirs, they were getting £500 a piece off Eddie here, weren't they? They were getting the train fares and hotels paid, and yeah, they're still doing that to this day. So it's a little bit easier for them boys, isn't it?
And a little bit of investment to
well, yeah,
cost,
they're full time. You are.
A bit of money on it, that won it for them, cover the cost, a few quid for the wages. They're doing something they like. It's not too bad, is it?
It's not work, is it? I mean, people keep saying to me, why don't you do this and do that? And I say, well, it isn't really like work, is it? Work to me is like when I was doing community service and they had me digging holes. That to me is graft.
Yeah.
Or with trimming around graveyards and painting and stuff like that. That's graft. This is not graft, it's fun. But
talking about what you do, isn't it?
It's like when Eddie Hearn comes out with all that, I'm an hard grafter and I've got a work ethic installed in me. Work ethic? What? Flying around the world talking at press conferences and watching boxing fights. That's not a work ethic. It's not a work ethic, that.
He likes to, I think from his probably his point of view is he works hard, but it's a good work, isn't it? You know, you're not, like you say, you're not painting, are you? Or on your knees and drilling, or you're doing something, you know, what's decent.
Yeah. So it's not work, that, to me.
His job, that'll be it's a good job, like, isn't it? You know.
Yeah, it's
with some serious money.
Yeah, that's not work. It's like Den goes on about hard graft to me, but he's only here 63 days a year. Rest of the time he's in another country sunning himself because it's better for him to be out at country. You know,
fair play. He has other things away from boxing, though, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's very fortunate, isn't he, to be in that position. You know, so when he does come back, you know, we go out and get seriously drunk to the states where to the stages where a couple of weeks back I think it's a week ago, is it? I woke up, I didn't know how I got home, and I've come home in this hoodie that wasn't mine. And I've got a shirt underneath, shirt and trousers on, and I've got this next grey hoodie on. And it turns out that I was back at Dennis's sipping whiskey, and I'm like 3 miles from my car. At 4 in the morning, I've just put this kid's hoodie on and gone home, got out from my car and gone home. And then got home. I don't know how I've got home, like, but car was parked on next road. You know, usually I walk up in fields and that. I have had that. Usually I wake up in a field if I'm drunk or if somebody's giving me a good hiding. Trust me. Well, yeah. So I've woke up in fields on a couple of occasions. Now just drunk, like, you know what I mean? Or I tend to be unsteady on my feet if I've had a lot to drink, and I suppose it's easy to take advantage of somebody who's drunk, and so I have to be careful, like, you know, because
you will do.
If you let drunk, a 10-year-old can rob you, can't they?
Yeah, I try and avoid getting to that standard in these days.
It's the I think my problem is, Scott, when I go out, I'm like a binge drinker. I won't go out every single day, but if I go out,
good drink.
Yeah, I'll go out and it'll be like 8 pints of Guinness with blackcurrant, and it'll be 8 Jaeger bombs, and it'll be glasses of wine then after that, and God knows what else I'll put down my neck, but or up my neck. But it's just a case of winding it in. But I feel like I have to have a release, because it is a bit. I do feel a little bit of pressure with this, because, you know, I have a family and that, and you know, my kids. I have my children to support, and, you know, it's all like telling them thinking the dad's doing all right when the dad's income is 0.
The balancing act, isn't it?
Yeah, but I am, like, in a fortunate position. I'm all right, but like I said, I won't be doing this in another 3 or 4 years if it don't, you know, if it don't start showing. I mean, you've got to have something out of that channel, haven't you? There's no money in them ads, but I do enjoy it, and I do feel that I've got my foot sort of halfway into what I'm doing, and I'm making right contacts, and there's a lot of people that are liking the channel at the moment, but there's a lot of people that also can chat a lot of rubbish, can say this to you and say that to you, and before you know where you are, you're wasting time and effort on speaking to people who basically just want to get me out and have a good drink with me and chat a load of shit because they think I'm a good night out, which I know I am. Right. But you know, there's got to be a bit of a grey area. See, I've always been one of them people that I'm black or white. I either like somebody or I can't stand them. I'm never one of them, oh, he's alright, I either love him or I don't want to speak to him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I get you. So are you in the boxing game with Dennis now?
Yeah, I've been back with Dennis now for 4 weeks. 4 weeks. 4 weeks. Yeah, I'm he's giving me
getting looked after.
Well, I'm not going to speak about that on here, but like I said, he's my mate and he sees me right. But he asked me to get some signings for him, to recommend some signings, or could I speak to certain people or put names to him, and he said, yeah, I like him. Or first 3 were like, no, or you're off your head, and next one, and then one after that were like, oh yeah, can you see him? And I'm like, yeah, I think it's possible, and it takes time, and there's going to be an announcement next week on one of the 2 guys that I've brought to tables.
Yeah, will we know him?
Oh yeah, you know him, yeah.
Right, okay.
But it's something I've had to keep quiet, but I'm looking forward to working with this kid. He's a former champion. I'm not going to say about weight, but it's going to be alright, and we're going to have a great journey with this kid. I like this kid, I respect him, he's a good person, and his family are alright as well. And it's just unfortunate that you know, he's had a bit of bad luck recently, but we're hoping to put all that right. And like I said to somebody the other night in the pub, if Dennis Hobson can take Stewie Hall to a world title, and Ross Birkinshaw to a Commonwealth title, and a WBO European belt with a #8 ranking in world, if he can do that with them, well, this kid's going to go all the way. And that's just a couple of guys that, you know, everybody said would never do anything. Now, Stewie,
got to deal with three sports, hasn't he?
Dennis has got, there's only 3 games in town now. Mick Hennessy, sorry, Frank Warren, Eddie Hearn and Dennis. Now I know that there's talk about Mick Hennessy with Channel 5 and that, but till I see something about Channel 5, I'm not going to buy into that. So I'll choose my words very carefully, because I like Mick, but till I see something on Channel 5's website, I don't know if that's going to happen, Usyk fight. I hope it does, and I wish him all the best, but and if Mick's still with Channel 5, brilliant, but it'd surely be on their website, wouldn't it, if Usy's going to fight?
Well, yeah, because I'd heard the rumours with Usyk fighting on there, but earlier in the week, but then there's nothing, like I said, there's nothing formal, so until you see it, it's not there, is it?
Listen, I said something a while ago about the word rumour. Rumour is a pipe. It's not a crack pipe, it's just a pipe, and it's blown by surmisers, jealousies and conjectures. Sunstrong, and that's Al Capone said that in 1925. Now people are either surmising, they're just jealous, or they're conjecting rubbish. Now that's what I think about the word rumour. Now there's either, you know, well, sorry, what I tend to learn in the boxing industry, what people say and do are totally different. Until I see it happening, I never buy into it. I want Usyk to fight on May 25th because I get on with Usyk and I'm good friends with his dad. But till I see it happening and him getting in the ring, as far as I'm concerned, it's pie in the sky, and that goes for all of them. Even Eddie Hearn, because he talks a lot of crap, doesn't he?
Yeah, because till the fight's arranged and it's there, there's a date and a venue, it's not there, is it?
No.
You know,
no.
I hear a lot, so I don't believe half of it anymore. You know, I follow boxing for about the last 20 years, and you get to learn, don't you? You get excited about things, and eventually you think, until you see it, there's no point in thinking about it. So
well, look, you know, when Eddie Hearn makes an announcement, right, on Sky, it's very rare that the fight doesn't happen, innit? Once they've made an announcement using Sky's name in a tweet. Now, with Frank Warren, you're a bit sceptical. You're a little bit sceptical with Mick, because he's on back foot at the moment, Mick, innit?
Yeah.
Right, Usy's just knocked back the Joyce fight and he vacated. So the backs are against the wall for Usyk now, aren't they? He's a 24-year-old kid, fantastic fighter, but you'd have to say that Usyk is Euro level, wouldn't you now?
Yeah, well, yeah.
There's a question mark over him at world level now, isn't there? No. It's nearly 2 years since he fought Parker, and Parker had not beat a champion, has he? I'm talking facts here, right? People can say, oh, you've fallen out with Furies or Mick Hennessy. No, I get a lot of stick for being biased. Let's look at the facts. How many fights has Usyk had in the last 3 years?
How many is there? A dozen. Not many, is there?
Fred Cassie, Parker, Sexton and Pouleff. Is that in the last 3 years?
Yeah, that's a lot. It's not a lot, is it?
What's that, 4 fights in 3 years?
Yeah, Sexton, he should have always, you know, that was just the fight he was always going to win as well, wasn't it?
Cut against Cassie. Parker, I thought Usyk won. It was a close fight. I thought Usyk nicked it.
Close, wasn't it? Very close fight.
Sexton, he knocked out. Should have knocked him out. Pouleff, he got cut earlier on. I don't think he should have took the fight. He got cut in. He got cut in sparring. I was there, so I don't think he should have took that fight. But that's not my decision. That's something that Usyk's team have made as a collective unit. Now, I think there's one thing Usyk's got on a lot of people is time. But if you want to get back in the mix, Joe Joyce is now being touted as. There's Joshua, Char, and then Joyce as third. Then there's that Trevor Bryan interim. So he's got a very good place with the WBA, and he's a WBA gold champion. Usyk could have defended British against Joe Joyce It was really an Olympic gold, but they gave him silver, didn't they? He received a silver, but really should have had gold.
He should have won the gold. I don't think. Would you realistically say though? I don't think Hughie wanted that fight because he's a tough.
Well, I don't know. You see, because it's not for me to comment. It is an hard fight for Hughie, but if you want to get back in the mix with good fights, Joe Joyce would have been straight back into the mix. You beat Joe Joyce, you could get Joshua, don't you?
Yeah, the hardcore fans would like that as well. I thought that would have been a good fight.
Yeah, good fight. Now, you see, well, now why didn't they take that fight as Hughie got an injury? We were told he had an injury, weren't we?
No, they were saying he probably thinks he's above British level, doesn't he now? So, and then obviously Joyce is there. But to me, it's about making the fights, isn't it? But I don't know. Like you say, you don't know, do you? You don't know. Is he injured? Because he's had a lot of injuries, hasn't he?
Well, is he going to copy Dillian Whyte? Dillian Whyte won a British title, a vacant belt against Ian Lewinson, right?
Yeah.
And then he's never had another win above that level yet. But they're saying he's been fighting world level fighters, but yeah, but he's not progressed as his legacy. Now, Hughie could have beat Joyce. They could have forgot the belt and just had it for WBA gold belt.
Yeah. Oh,
could have still made the fight. They could have still made the fight. And I would have liked to have seen that, and I think that Hughie could take Joyce some rounds, because Hughie's a 12-round fighter all day. He could have took Joyce, because he don't get hit, Hughie, really. He could have took Hughie down, could have took Joyce down straight and drowned him on the right night. But
mix the styles as well, I thought.
Yeah.
Styles, obviously, a boxer versus someone who comes forward.
Yeah, great fight. And if he loses that fight, though, he's lost against a guy pushing 34 with 9-10 fights. Is that the thought? Is that his thought he's got a lot more to lose? Than if Joyce loses, he can say, well, Hughie's fought for a world title and I've only had this handful of fights. But Joyce is 9 years older. You keep talking over me when I'm talking.
Go on, Paul.
Are you there? Right. Yeah. Joyce has had 9 fights, hasn't he? Sorry, Joyce is 9 years older, sorry, and he's had 9 fights. Now, if Joyce wins against Hughie, he's really in a tight spot, isn't he? Because he lost to a 10-fight novice. But the same 10-fight novice has had such a decorated career through amateurs that he can, what's the word? He can say, well, the guy's top notch, isn't he? Joyce is a quality fighter. He's a world level operator. You'd probably say world class puncher, but he's still a bit wet behind ears. And I think Hughie'd have too much in his locker. If he had everything up in the locker, I think Hughie's just got that little bit more because he can do the rounds. There's question marks against Joe Joyce. We're not questioning his power, Scott, are we though?
No, he's relentless, isn't he? But it's one of them with Joyce. Who needs Joyce? That's what a lot of fighters think. Because he's one of them fighters, isn't it?
Who needs Dillian Whyte?
Yeah, he's exactly in the same mould, isn't it?
Yeah.
Will they get the big fights? Both of them. Joyce, you know, how long has he been about? I know he's only had so many fights, but he's been about a bit, hasn't he? And it seems that no one wants to go near him. Yeah,
that's it. They're going to have to pay now. Now, Joe Joyce called out Ortiz. Now, I know somebody that knows Ortiz's team personally, and they said yes please to a Joyce fight. Joyce's guy, that's Sam, who is it? He's only a puppy, isn't he, a kid? He's gone quiet. He's gone very quiet. So...
Yeah, so what happened with... Did you hear what happened with Joyce and Haymaker?
He left him, hasn't he?
Yeah, but what happened? Why?
I don't know. I don't have... anything to do with Haye. He's not my cup of tea. I think I call him cost cutter like Ultratech Sports Road does, because all he's done, Davey Day, he's abused the fans. Now, if you remember Davey Day, when he were on Sky, he pulled out 2 fights with Tyson Fury, didn't he? And said his career was finished for good. 4 years later, he's fighting on Dave Channel, £1 million fight. He then gets 2 pay-per-views with Tony Bellew when they were held together by the sellotape. Now, Davey Day, in my opinion, is a whore, and he has abused the fans for years. But when you look deep down at Davey Day's record, he beat 6 world champions. Yeah. But who did he beat who were really at top of the game? Who? Mormac?
More in the cruiserweight. I think he had more success in cruiserweight.
Enzo Macarinelli, who would upgraded to champion. He beat Mormac in France. I'll give him that one. I don't give him that Circus Act, the 7-foot guy. I don't give him that one. That Value. I don't give him John Ruiz, he was 38. Now, Davey Day last won a world title fight 10 years before, was it 9, 10 years with John Ruiz, and then he fought Bellew. In between, he'd lost to Vladimir in a schooling, and Tony Bellew got him at the right time. But David Haye convinced us all with social media and all this chit chat that he was the David Haye of old. He even had me convinced, and Dennis.
He had me convinced. Listen, I was a fan early in the day. He had me convinced.
Yeah.
But even in the first fight, you know, the second fight, he was gone. He just looked terrible. Even when he was walking into the ring, you could see he was nothing left in the tank at all.
No.
Completely shot to pieces. It was bad. It was bad to watch. It wasn't Bellew was good. I just think David Haye was that he got that bad.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Scott.
It was terrible. Even if you watch the warm up to the fight, I think obviously on the Friday or Thursday when they do it, his foot movement looked terrible. So you could see he was obviously injured in the first one, and I'm sure Eddie and everybody knew he was injured in that first fight, but it was too late to pull out, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You know, you could see when he walked into the ring. There's a video of him walking into the ring on the first fight, dragging his foot. I don't know if you've seen it, and he's dragging his foot into the ring.
Well, look, he turned up. He knew he could turn up, and if he'd have folded when his leg hurted, he'd have never got on Sky again. But because he fought on with one leg, he was like fighting for his life, wasn't he, for a pound note. He was like there with a begging bowl. Now let me tell you this. Right about David Haye, shall I? Because I know people that have been close to him. Do you know when he's spunked all that money that he's got from them 2 fights? And trust me, he will spunk it. You will see David Haye come back on reality TV programmes and come back again. And mark my words, he will be coming out with lines like, George Foreman did it at 45, so I'm going to do it. That's what he will come back out with, but I don't think it's going to wash with fans next time. But who knows, he is capable of anything. I mean, he even attacked Chisora, didn't he? He was desperate to get a fight. When look, the guy, he gets it. He gets the boxing industry. The fact that when he injured himself running up some stairs, he knew he had to go to Eddie Hearn's office and beg. Now, they've never got on them two. Eddie Hearn got into work that next morning, and he was waiting in his office, David Haye. And he was there with his head in his hands because he needed them fights. That rematch, he needed it, let me tell you. He needed it.
Did you see Shannon Briggs going on about, he seems to think he'll fight Haye. He said Haye will return. He said, mark my words.
Yeah, he knows him, doesn't he? David Haye will return. He's just thinking of an angle. As soon as David Haye sees an angle, because he's always going to look in great shape, he's a natural athlete. Yeah, of course he does. But it's what's behind the great shape. As soon as he sees an angle to come back, I guarantee you now, David Haye will be back. He will be back, and he will fight again. Bellew will fight again.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Soon as Bellew, right? Listen, you know Tony Bellew, right? I keep saying it, and I'm gonna keep saying it. He kept going on about Nathan Cleverly not beating a champion. Well, Tony Bellew, British Commonwealth, European and a world title. All them belts were vacant belts. He's only beat 2 champions, Haye twice, and Cleverly was dragged up into a different weight. Now, he's got 2 world title wins at world level, 2. Macabo and Flores, they've never been champions. They never even won a belt. His record is what's wrong with boxing today, Tony Bellew's. Now, I know Tony Bellew's fan club and all his followers, they keep emailing me this and that. Well, look, the proof's in the pudding. Tony Bellew, the disappearing man, the invisible man who wants to disappear, but he's in changing rooms, he's on Soccer AM and Sky and commentating and punditing, fitness DVDs. The disappearing man. You have not beat a champion. Not beat a champion. Your 4 belts you got were vacant. Not beat a champion. That's what he said to Cleverly. And Cleverly's now beat a champion because he beat Bramer. But he's not beat a champion. Right? No. He's had an easy route, he's plotted an easy route and shouted and screamed and kicked and screamed in background, built his name that way. He's not built his name in the ring. When he stepped up to the plate, Adonis Stevenson and Usyk, he got iced. 2 southpaws, iced him. Iced him. Cleverly took him to school first time they fought. Yeah, I know he took it and he were 16 fighting novice, but he still took the fight. Well, let me tell you this. Bellew has not beat a champion. Get it into your heads, all you Bellew gimps from Gimpville Island, not beat a champion. Mr. Vacant Belt, Tony Bellew. You've got experience in vacant belts, which means your promoter gets you them belts. You're not beat a champion. Now when you put your head on that pillar at night, Tony Bellew, you know that you've got 2 world title wins, Macabo and BJ Flores, and you have not beat a champion. Now that will do your head in, because when I mentioned it, Tony Bellew, in a video, it did 20,000 views on Twitter. You rung Dennis's office ranting and raving and screaming and demanding I get sacked. You still not beat a champion, and that were a good 18 months before you retired. Yeah, fair enough, you had to go at Usyk, didn't you? But come on, you got pay-per-view, didn't you? Not beat a champion. Right?
The trouble is, pal, what you're talking about there, you're right, but all these boxers seem to go the same way. We've also got Fury now fighting Schwartz, you know.
And Tom Schwartz. It's a joke. It's a joke, mate. You know, it's a joke.
You've got that, you've got Joshua fighting Miller, the next kickboxer at 25 stone, whatever he is.
Oh, you know, oh, that Miller, 24 stone, 23 stone 10 or something, isn't he?
It's just, it's absolutely, it's going stupid. So what about Bellew's record? They're all going to try and pad it out and just get as much money for all these TV deals that they can. That's what ever seems to be happening now.
Fighters nowadays are all businessmen.
Yeah, exactly.
You've got a lot of rattle, but not a lot of give and take in ring, because they don't want to fight this person, they don't want to fight that person. And then when it comes on top with fans, they just hide behind the TV companies and the promoters. That's why they have a promoter to hide behind him. Now, I'm one of them people, right? You know, when I see stuff like that, I'm thinking to myself, Jesus. But it's not that. It has a knock-on effect down the line, and nobody wants to fight anybody. Nobody wants to take risks. I want to see proper fights. Now, we all said 2019 were going to be a fantastic year, didn't we?
Looks bad. Looks bad already.
What's what?
Looks bad already.
It's shocking. 2019, mate. It's shocking. It's a shocking year. Shocking,
you know what I'm mad with Frank Warren going on about obviously Eddie and putting all these fights on mismatches, but then we have a new deal with ESPN, he signs that and you get Fury Schwartz. It's like you've just joined the same thing that Joshua's doing and Eddie.
Listen, they were screaming blue murder about StubHub, weren't they? And then what do we do? They're going to StubHub. Look, it's just games, and do you know what? I think basically they go home at night and they're just laughing at the fans. Us, we're the fans. They go home and they just laugh at us. They think, ah, look at them buying into that again, right? Yeah. Look at them buying into all this rubbish.
Well, I won't be buying Joshua Miller or if Fury Schwartz even dare mention that as pay-per-view. I will not be purchasing that at all. Yeah. Full stop. They're terrible fights for the fans. No. You know, I don't even think the casuals will be that interested in them because no one knows Schwartz, you know, or Miller.
Yeah. Well, what about Fury Schwartz? Is that going to be pay-per-view? It is, isn't it, apparently?
Well, I don't know. I've heard once again a rumour, the old rumour mill. Frank Warren didn't decline that it was pay-per-view, did he? He just said we're not sure yet.
They're not sure. Listen, at the end of the day, right, Tyson's getting that much money from ESPN. They might not do it as pay-per-view. Listen, if they were going to do it not as pay-per-view, they'd be screaming it front rafters. But if they do it as pay-per-view and the fans vote with their feet, they'll get hammered. And anyway, why is Tyson Fury going on about, oh, I'm not fighting in America, I want to be A-side, not B-side, but yet he's fighting in America.
Well, that's the same as Joshua. I thought boxing was in the UK, we'll do it here.
It ain't, is it? They've alienated. Do you know what it is? They've tried to create something, right? Carl Froch started the ball rolling. I'm not saying it because he's my mate. He started the ball rolling, and Joshua took the mantle on. But then they've all broke away for money, haven't they? None of them want to risk anything. Joshua's thinking, "Ooh, Tyson Fury. If I don't hit him, he'll beat me on points." Wilder's thinking the same, and Fury's thinking, "God, if I get caught off them." Because he's had some fist off Wilder and he's had a spar with Joshua. They thought, why risk it? I've got a family, I've got this, I've got that. And then if you say anything to them, they say, well, you've not boxed, what do you know? You're not getting it ring, you're just a critic or you're a keyboard warrior. Keyboard warriors, right, if you go look it on Google, keyboard warriors are people who hide behind. The keyboard warriors are people who hide behind the keyboard. Do you know what I mean? That's what they are. So.
You're not hiding, are you?
Hey? No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
Yeah.
So.
I won't put you down as that, mate. Anyway.
Listen, people know who I am, right? They know who I am. I'm not hiding behind anybody. I'm not hiding behind anybody. If I've got something to say, I'm going to say it. If people don't like it, it's hard cheese, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
You're only saying what we're all saying. They're just crap.
Yeah, so we were talking there before I changed your battery, Scott, about the Tyson Fury Tom Schwartz fight. Personally, I don't think that fighters nowadays are testing themselves. That's what I think, mate. I don't think they're testing themselves. I think that
it proves it, doesn't it?
Hey?
It proves it with all the fights what I've planned.
Yeah, it's going downhill, isn't it?
It's gone downhill, I think.
Well, they're saying that Britain is the place to be for boxing now, but is it? It's having a knock-on effect on all these up-and-coming fighters, like for instance Dillian Whyte. Now there's a fight out there for Dillian Whyte with Joe Joyce and with Ortiz. Them two fights are there for him now.
Yeah. Did you watch the interview? I've only watched part of it this morning. He put one on IFL, Dillian Whyte and Cassius, and it was all about his next opponent, and he wouldn't really say a lot, but he weren't mentioning Ortiz' name, usual Povetkin, Ortiz.
Povetkin's right, 40-year-old. Ortiz is 40 plus.
Yeah.
Right, and he's just beat Brown, he's 40. So is Dillian Whyte the guy who's knocking pensioners out? You can only knock who's in front of you, but Dillian Whyte's just had 2 pay-per-views. Is Povetkin a pay-per-view or Ortiz?
I'd rather see Ortiz, because I've seen Povetkin in this country.
Is Dillian Whyte going to fight a southpaw?
Don't know. Who do you reckon he's going to fight?
I don't know, mate, but this is how I look at it. He needs to get a move on, doesn't he? Because he's getting to the stage now where...
Well, he's penciled in for July, isn't he? Is it July?
Penciled in, that's a good one, that. Penciled in. I don't know, but he's got to do something sooner or later, because it's getting to the stage where he's becoming frozen out. Dillian Whyte's becoming the forgotten man, isn't he?
Definitely, and he's probably one of the best out there.
Is what?
I like Dillian Whyte, you know.
Yeah.
I like him. Yeah, he's got a good fighting style, you know, he has a go. I don't think he's bothered about fighting anyone, but he wants to fight him again. I don't think anyone really does want to fight him.
Dillian Whyte's an hard fight for anybody, mate. I'm not bothered what anybody says. He is. He's an hard fight, Dillian Whyte.
He's probably the most improved fighter, isn't it? You know, out there, you know, heavyweight wise.
He's what?
Come on, he's one of the most improved fighters.
Yeah, you probably is. You probably could say that about Dillian Whyte. Yeah, you could say that he's improved.
That's it.
He's got a good left hook.
Oh, hell of a left hook, hasn't he? You know, if that hits anybody, they'd probably say good night, innit? Game out, lights out, if you would.
Joshua knows that. That's why he's going to swerve him, isn't he?
Well, that's why he lowballed him, didn't he?
Well, I mean, people keep going on about this lowballing, right? Well, £5 million. Now, is that lowballing? Listen, mate. Listen. Let's look at the facts. Dillian Whyte's the best belt he's got at home. He hasn't even got it at home. It's a British title. He won it with vacant, and he's not won it outright. That's his best win on paper. The other belts that he's got are international this and intercontinental that and blah de blah. He's knocked back eliminators. He has knocked back, and let me repeat this again, and this is the last time I'm going to mention it on channel. Dillian Whyte has knocked back £5 million to fight for the heavyweight championship of the world, 4 of the 5 belts, at home in London, in a derby match against a kid he's fought twice already, once in amateurs, once in pros, who they don't get on. It's the same in-house fighter. 90,000 tickets, heavyweight championship of the world for £5 million and a 40% in a rematch. Now that's why he's saying he's knocked it back. Now, because of the rematch, but you've got to look at it like this, right? You beat Joshua twice, you dictate your own terms, don't you?
Yeah.
Now Eddie Hearn and his dad, they're businessmen, they'll be sat at home now and they'll be thinking, what's it coming to here? We're offering people a shot at the heavyweight championship of the world. I keep repeating it because I can't get it out of my fucking head. 4 belts of the 5, you've got to fight him twice. If you win first one, you get 40% in second. Or if you don't do that, you may never get a chance again. He has not even fought for a European title yet, Dillian Whyte. Now I'm not sure if he can fight for a European because he's not born in England, is he?
No.
Or is it a Commonwealth he can? I don't understand it all. No, I think he's got a British passport, so he probably can. But he's not fought for a European yet, and do you know what the best thing about it is? Dillian Whyte, I think, can beat him. I think he can beat him. But we're like I said, we're entering into an era now where they're all picking up a few quid, and then when it gets to the nitty-gritty, they don't want to know. For example, Dillian might watch this and think, I'm going to slap that Porky, or blah de blah, or ring him up, or I'm not happy with that. Look, if there's something I'm wrong with there, come out and say it, Dillian. But you're not fighting Joshua at Wembley in front of 90,000 for 4 belts, and you were offered it, and you were offered millions of pounds. Now, where are you now? You're in limbo.
No, he's in no man's land, if the old saying, isn't he?
Like my title the other day. Well, look at Anthony Yarde. Yeah. They put him as #1. What's he doing?
Have you seen that? They reckon, I was reading before, they reckon terms have been agreed for June and July.
Well, let's see it then. What, Frank Warren's saying there's a fight that's made?
Bob Aaron said terms have been agreed.
Yeah, well, I'll believe it when I see it.
There's not boxing news and a few others. But
what, like terms were agreed for Ricky Burns against Broner and what were other one? Cleverly against Hopkins.
Yeah, they don't mean it's going to happen. But
don't mean jack, mate. It doesn't mean jack. Let me tell you this, right? Do you think Kovalev's going to fight bin men and taxi drivers and waiters and doner kebab guys who work in doner kebab shops, and then go in with Kovalev, who's a 3-time world champion, and his only defeats have come against one where he got caught against Alderez, and the 2 Ward ones. One where Ward should have been disqualified, and the other one I thought he beat Ward. So as far as I'm concerned, right? Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, Kovalev's still at the top of his game, and they're going to put Yarde in with him. Well, Yarde don't seem that confident. You've got, all they're doing is getting a ton of free publicity on it, like they did Tyson Fury against Wilder. They're getting a ton of free publicity, and then they don't have the fight. They've gone to Bob Arum now. They'll go down another avenue and said the deal wasn't right for them. Well, they've picked up all that free publicity and got Yarde's name out there. Yarde's not even won a British title yet.
No, he hasn't.
He's not won a British title. He looks the part. He's got big arms, 6-pack. He says all right things. Got a great story like Joshua, who going down the wrong path, which is now the most boringest fucking story ever. And now all of a sudden, his best thing since sliced bread, he's got an Adidas deal. He's got a Maxi Muscle deal. He's not won a British title.
So that's how boxing's going then, isn't it now?
Fight Buatsi.
Oh, yeah, I know that, but he won't, will he?
No, they're not going to do that, are they? They're not going to do it, mate. They're not going to do it. None of these guys, Yarde, Whyte, want to fight the main guys when they can pick up good money and earn in millions. I'm not saying Yarde earns millions, but Dillian Whyte's, he's got a deal where he's on pay-per-view now, hasn't he? Because he does numbers on IFL.
It's set. Do you not find though? Do you remember a few years ago when it all come about with Joshua was supposed to fight Wilder, and Eddie kept referring obviously Joshua as the A side. He brings in this money, all the views, all the seats he fills. I think Eddie's cost a lot of fights by going on about Joshua's money and wealth and what they can get through Joshua. So when the fights try to be made, everybody wants a larger piece of the pie because Eddie's been shouting from the rooftops about how much money he's worth.
Oh, Joshua.
Yeah, so Eddie's been going on about it for that, people. So all his opponents now think, well, if he brings this venue in, I want this. So I blame Eddie a lot of it, to be honest with you, not just for making the fights, but for going on about how much Joshua brings to the table.
Listen, mate, at the end of the day, right, Eddie Earnwright and Joshua, they're conning us. Do you know Joshua? Let me tell you a little story. Adam Etchits has got an uncle who's called Terry, who's got a cafe at back of AJ Hobson's scrapyard, back of the EIS in Sheffield. I've gone in there one day. Joshua's looked over and I thought, ooh, because I always used to give Joshua loads of stick. Anyway, so I never said oh. He ordered a chicken and fries dinner, right? He went back, had it. Within an hour, they had a picture of Joshua chopping fruit up, a selection of fruit. Eat all your fruit and all your greens and be big and strong like me. It reminded me of Hulk Hogan when he used to say that. Eat all your vitamins and you can be big and strong like me. That's what Hulk Hogan used to say. Then it came out and he admitted about steroids. Now, Joshua is a fraud, mate. He's a fraud. He is a fraud. I know somebody who works in media and he asked him about the guy that he battered and the drug dealing and that, and he said, oh, what were the assault, the bad assault that you got done for, and the drugs and all that, and what exactly happened there? And he said, oh, the drugs were just a possession charge, a bit of weed, and that somebody left in his car, which wasn't exactly true, because it were 200 and odd gram, like 230 gram or something, it said on internet. And what were the, which is like a 9 bar, innit, or just under. And what were the other thing? Oh, it's just some crazy shit back in the day, crazy shit. Well, beating somebody half to death who's 10 stone wet through when you're a 6'6" boxer, I don't think that's crazy shit. You go?
No. No.
But the media trained, aren't they? And that guy's now refused a press pass. I'm not going to say his name because he still works in boxing industry. He can't get a press pass for matchroom events. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. That's why I know I can't, but I don't really bother anyway. I say my bit to Eddie Hearn in emails. I say my bit to them in my emails. You what?
No, don't think you've got a chance of the press pass somehow.
Not bothered anyway. I said my bit in my emails to him. I said my bit in my emails to him, so, do you know what I mean?
Like you say, though, they're not bothered, are they?
No.
Our opinions don't really matter to them because we're just a small number.
Yeah, yeah, so...
It's just irrelevant. What about Crawler this weekend?
What about who?
Mamachenko, Crawler.
Yeah, I know, yeah, so, alright.
Hell of a minute.
Listen, let me ring you back, yeah, because I've got this fucking farmer patrol here on me. 2 seconds, I'll ring you back. Right, there you go. Right, what else do we want to talk about? Usyk?
Usyk Takam.
Usyk Takam. Let me think. Usyk against Takam. I think that Usyk is a great fighter. I think he's probably the guy that's going to beat Femi. That's what I think. I think he's the guy that's going to beat Joshua. That's what I think. I think he's going to be the man to beat him. Whether he beats him or not, I don't know. But yeah, go on. Yeah, I think that Usyk's just too much for Takam. I think Takam's a spent force. Yeah. I mean, Johnny Nelson coming out with, oh, Takam, he's like George Foreman and Holyfield rolled into one. And Spencer Fearon stood there second in that, before he fought Joshua. I mean, what planet are these people on when they're coming out with statements like that? These are not normal people. These to say this, they're not even normal humans. They are superhumans. They are superhumans. Do you know what I mean? They are superhumans. You what, mate?
It's like Takam Usyk. I think it's a decent first heavyweight fight for him, to be fair, Usyk. Could have got in there with sort of anybody, but for a first fight, I don't think it's too bad.
Don't ya?
You know, for his first fight. And I think, like you say, I think if he can come through that, and I don't know how he pushes up the weight or, you know, what he adds to his body, I just think he's one of the most skilled fighters. You know, what he did to Bellew. And like, say what you know about Johnny Nelson, then what he said about Usyk, Bellew is technically better than, you know, Usyk. Is that comment?
Oh, yeah, I put that on my channel, that when Johnny Nelson said that Usyk's not as good as Bellew and Bellew's technique's a lot better. I mean, what were Johnny thinking when he said that? What were he thinking? He can't have been thinking straight, can he?
I couldn't believe it. I was shouting and telling my wife, going, you know, what's up with you? I said,
what?
I said, I can't deal with it. I said, what's this about? I said, Usyk's just in a world of his own. He's class. One of the best pound for pounds out there, isn't he?
Usyk is the guy that can beat Joshua. If he puts the weight on correctly, he'll beat Joshua.
It's that size difference, isn't it?
It's what?
The size difference, isn't it?
Yeah, you've got 18 stone, 260 pound against 210 pound. Big difference. That's why Bellew didn't want to tangle with them big guys. But I think he will. I think he will. Yeah, when Bellew's spent a bit of money he's got, and bought a few more houses with it, and he's thinking, oh, I could do a nest egg, he'll always think to his son, I can always come back at any stage. I don't want to go out on a loss. I can say I'm really in heavyweight. He can feed us all that rubbish and come back and say, look, I were an heavyweight in amateurs and I'm going to finish as an heavyweight. He'll give us that. That's what he'll chat. That is what he will chat, mate.
Because he won't have to make weight, will he? So he can just come in at that weight.
Yeah, he'll just come in at 16.5 stone or something out of shape and just get another pay-per-view and put some more money into kitty. That's what these people do.
I think it's likely to happen as well, due to the fact that, you know, with Eddie and all these sort of fighters retiring and that, and there's sort of no big names to put pay-per-view on, you can imagine it, can't you? Yeah. He's just ready. He'll just say, let's come back maybe a year time, maybe end of year, maybe next year. You know, it's there, isn't it?
Listen, mate, Tony Bellew will come back. Tony Bellew will come back. Sure as eggs are eggs, he will be back. No ifs or buts about it, mate. He'll be back, Tony Bellew. Because once they've had a taste of it, now he's had 4 pay-per-views in Bellew. 4 pay-per-views now.
Serious money.
Hey?
Some serious money.
Serious dollar that, mate, innit? That's serious vonga, mate. 4 pay-per-views, look. I know I keep going on about this, right, but Carl Froch only had 3 pay-per-views. He had 3 pay-per-views, mate, and you know what? He deserved every single one of them. He brought pay-per-view back, Carl Froch. He brought it back, mate. 3 pay-per-views. Bellew's had 4.
He just missed out on the pay-per-view boom, really, didn't he?
Froch has beat 10 world champions plus Dirrell. Bellew's beat, who's he beat? David Haye and Cleverly. David Haye held together with Sellotape, he licked him twice, and Cleverly. What's that? He's had 4 pay-per-views. Carl Froch brought pay-per-view back. He paved the way for them all after David Haye ruined it. Yeah. David Haye spoilt it with Audley Harrison, and then the one after that were 2 years later, and that were Vladimir, and they said no, we're not going to do it. They've had enough. David Haye, they kept indulging David Haye. 2 Tyson Fury fights, they indulged him again, and he pulled out of them. Then he comes back and has 2 Bellew fights, and sure enough, David Haye will come back again. My words with pay-per-view. He's just looking for the script.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, go on, what else do you want to talk about? Go on, say what?
There's just too much money for him not to come back. It's an option always, isn't it?
Yeah, that's...
If there is that script, stroke, narrative, they can get themselves back, sell the fans the dream, bit of what do they call it? A bit of intense beef we can have.
Intense beef.
We're there, aren't we? We've got a fight.
Intense beef. What about soggy spam or something, or Philadelphia pheasant? Philadelphia pheasant. Or what about Doncaster doner meat? Or laughing luncheon meat.
Yeah, there is. That's another thing I want to speak about. Joe Saunders fighting at Stevenage. This is one of I don't know what's happened to Billy Joe.
I don't know what's happened to Billy Joe. Billy Joe Saunders 3.5 years ago won a world title, right? And since then, all we've heard is we're going to fight Canelo, we're going to fight Golovkin. Yeah. What's he done? He's had 4 fights, hasn't he? 3.5 years. One of them were at 180 £180.
The last one.
He's going to go down as a guy who's won everything, Central Area, British, Commonwealth, European, world title, defended belt, lost the belt out the ring because Eddie Hearn's a little bit sharp, isn't he, outside the ring. You got Fury's belts off him. You've got to have people around you that are sharp, and I think that what happened, you know what, right? I'll tell you what happened. Eddie Hearn is sharp, very sharp. Now, and he pays people good that's around him, so you have to give him respect. He's got them young kids around him, Eddie, Frank Smith and them, but they all have their little jobs, what they do. Now, Frank Warren, right, said he don't want to work with Eddie Hearn. This is why they've only done 4 fights together. In fact, I don't even think they've done 4, have they? Because I think they've done 3. The 4th one with Billy Joe and Andrade, it didn't happen, did it?
No.
This is why they can't work together, because they're trying to up each other all the time, aren't they? They're trying to up each other all the time. They're trying to play gamesmanship against each other. And this is what happens, and this is why they can't work together. They can't be trusted to not shaft each other. And it's just business, isn't it? It's just business, and it's just how it goes. But I feel sorry for Billy Joe Saunders, because everybody knows I'm a Billy Joe Saunders fan. I think his skills are off the charts. But
you know, I think he's more skilled than Fury.
Well, I do. He's a natural southpaw.
He's got the lot, hasn't he?
Tyson Fury's... Billy Joe Saunders has never been down once. Tyson's been down, what, 5 times, has he now?
Well, he's been down 6 in that sparring video.
I don't know if that is him, you know, in that sparring video, do you?
I couldn't tell. I'd seen it as well last week. And I don't know who put it on. It was on a YouTube channel.
Yeah, I don't think that's him. I don't. Somebody sent me it and they put Fury's been put to Kip, and I sent it a couple of pals and I said, "What do you think?" But
well, have you heard that on that say? Did anyone say out? They're not going to admit that anyway, are they?
No, I don't think it was him that. But what I do know is that Tyson got dropped twice in his last fight against a massive puncher. And I know that he's not fighting this guy now after saying that he were going to fight him.
He don't want that again, does he?
Well, you know, Wilder's one of them guys that he can put you out.
No one wants Wilder, does he? No one wants to fight Wilder. And let's say with Fury now, well, I can just imagine Bob Arum, he'll fight Schwartz and then he'll fight, I don't know, he'll fight another nobody, maybe once or twice, maybe 3 fights in a row. I just don't see that fight happening again quick, do you?
No, I don't. I don't think that Bob Arum's gonna let Fury fight Wilder yet, or Joshua. They're gonna milk it like they did. He's got a track record of he kept Floyd Mayweather against away from Oscar De La Hoya and Shane Mosley for years, and eventually Floyd never got them fights. He had to leave Bob to get the fights, didn't he?
Yeah, and it was the Pacquiao fight, wasn't it? You know, again, all them years later it took place. It was gone, wasn't it? Sell by date gone.
Yeah, but Bob Arum was still involved with it, though, wasn't he? Because he'd signed Pacquiao by the time Mayweather left. So Bob Arum, he ended up playing everybody, didn't he? That's why he's known as the Bob Father. He's the man. He's the top.
Businessman, isn't he?
Yeah, but Bob Arum, it's because of people like Bob Arum that we're not getting the fights that we want. Now Frank Warren keeps running around saying, for the fans, for the fans, for the fans. In a heartbeat, that fight can be made in a heartbeat for the fans. Well, let me tell you this. This is what we're getting. Yarde against Kovalev. In a heartbeat for fans. Still not being made. The other fight were made in a heartbeat. What's that one? What's Fury against Wilder were made in a heartbeat. The rematch wasn't made in a heartbeat. It's been dragging on months. No. And what do we get? Tom Schwartz.
I couldn't believe it. I'm still shocked, to be honest with you.
You're still shocked.
I can't believe the cheek of even mentioned it for pay-per-view. That's the worst thing.
So
who's going to pay for that if they do?
I don't know, mate.
Sorry, going back to Billy Joe. How's Billy Joe? No offence to Stevenage FC or anything like that, you know, but why is he not fighting on a bigger stage?
Billy Joe's not a big ticket seller, is he, for starters? You'll see how many tickets he does at Stevenage. And that's in his own, that's where he's from, isn't it? Well, it's his own area, so he should sell it out, shouldn't
he? Yeah. But still, he should be in bigger fights, shouldn't he?
Yeah, he should be, but you know what? You've got to look at it like this. Frank Warren, he's probably got to pay X amount of money to get Copper Box or to get the O2 Arena. Now, he's thinking, well, if I can get Stevenage Football Club, I can get that for a song. Because he's well in with them, isn't he?
Yeah, that neck of the woods, aren't they?
Yeah, he lives down there, Frank, so he's probably got something going on where he can put a fight on there, and all he's got to do is let them have a bar or something and give them a drink or something. I don't know, he'll not be paying what going rate would be for a normal arena. Do you know what I mean? But if it works out, they could have a regular venue then. Good luck to Frank Warren. I'm not a big Frank Warren fan, but he's a boxing man, but he's keeping the fans away from having the fights that I want to see. I want to see Yarde Kovalev. I don't want to hear that he's being dragged out this and dragged out that. He just seems to be going rumbling on and on. Like Andrade's son, as that rumbled on and no happened. This is going down the same path. They're getting loads of free PR. And everybody's getting to know who Yarde is. But so far, I look at Yarde's CV and I see that he's not won a British title!
No.
So how's he #1 ranked?
That's the pattern now. They don't seem to have to go for the old belts, do they? In order like they used to.
No. No.
You can bypass them now, can't you?
At least Callum Johnson's done it the right way. He's got British and Commonwealth, and I dare say that he'd fight Yarde for it. I mean, why don't Yarde just go for a normal European belt or something, or good as something? Why don't you fight Jose Burton? Jose Burton's a great fighter. Jose Burton against Yarde is a great fight. Now, I just don't think that they want to work with Eddie Hearn now. What's happening is the egos are that massive that the only people who are suffering are the fans.
Yeah, I agree.
So, yeah.
I'm here talking about 2019, and I'm thinking, there's nothing to look forward to.
No, there ain't.
I'm not thinking, oh, that's great, I can't wait for that. I'm just thinking, I'll watch what's on, because obviously I love it, but apart from that, there's nothing going on, is there? It's just poor fights. You know, one-sided fights, like we've said. But I'm disappointed. Billy Joe, like, as I say, he should be a lot further on in his career. You don't want, you know, he's just got everything, and he just doesn't seem to be anywhere.
Oh, Billy Joe. No, he don't seem to be. He don't seem to be pulling any trees up at the moment, does he, Billy Joe? And it's a shame, really, isn't it? Because he's a great little fighter, and he's still only in his 20s, isn't he, Billy Joe? Was he 29? Yeah. A great fighter, man. Yeah. Great fighter.
You know, you watch it and you think, yeah, great fighter. And even now, if he was to come back and like, even if they put the Eubank fight on, at least it would have something, wouldn't it? You think, oh, it's interesting.
Do you know Eubank against Billy Joe at £160? I think that's a great fight. Callum Smith against Billy Joe at 168. Billy Joe will be in trouble there because Callum Smith's a humongous man in size. He's too big and he's got skills to burn as well.
How is he the super middleweight?
Well, it's killing him, innit, obviously, but they're going to say, oh, we do it easy, we do it easy. Well, if you do it easy, make middleweight.
Yeah.
If you make 168 easy, do a middleweight then.
How much weight was he put on? After the weigh-in,
he'll put 15, 16, 8, maybe £20 on him.
£20, yeah.
Froch used to put £4 on.
Yeah, because we're talking about him and Billy Joe, and I can't say that. I think he's too big.
Yeah, too big. 5 inch taller. He'd be stone heavier on night. Hey?
Massive reach.
Yeah, you know, Billy Joe would not take that fight against Callum Smith. He'd not take it.
No. I don't know. Where does Callum Smith go next? He's another one. You know, he's got the Muhammad Ali trophy and everything there, and he's just quiet. He's fighting. Is he fighting on the Joshua undercard supposedly?
He don't sell a ticket, Callum Smith. None of Smiths sell tickets. None of them. They're away fighters, aren't they? That means because they alienate the fans, don't they? At Smiths. Yeah. They alienate, and Paul Smith's knackered it for others. Actually, the other kids are all right. I think they're decent kids. I don't know any of them, but I think Paul Smith, with his outbursts on social media, gives the other three a bad name. Because I've actually met 2 of them. I've met all of them, in fact, but I've actually spoke to Stevie. I think he's a great kid. I think Liam Smith's a good little fighter. I think he's very. I think he's a world-class fighter at 154. Right. And but I think that he alienates the fans when you've got the brother just blocking anybody on social media who wishes him well. You wish Paul Smith well in a fight and he blocks you. Paul Smith's fought 6 world champions and lost against all of them. He's gone 0-6 against world champions, former, current and future. 0-6.
He was one with all the potential, wasn't he, as well?
Huh?
He had big potential, did he?
Paul Smith, I was a big Paul Smith fan, wasn't I? When he fought Pascal in Commonwealth Games, I really got behind him all the way through games. And I watched his career, and somebody who I know, Stevie Bendel, he beat him, and then he started saying I'm a super middle, and he just sort of went from bad to worse. Sometimes you have a bad day at office, you don't have to blame weight, do you?
No.
Because if you'd have won that fight, you wouldn't be saying you need to move up a weight, would you? If you'd have won it, you'd have been saying, well, I'm alright at this weight, I've just won it. It's a knee-jerk reaction, and people need to sometimes...
That one quite a bit, don't we now? That's a new one. That's the weight. That's all we ever hear.
No, it's the weight.
Yeah, well, I'll have to move up weight. I'll have to move down.
A spotcher searches his soul, doesn't he, for an answer, and suddenly decides that, do you know what, it was the weight. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It was the weight.
It wasn't the performance.
Aye?
It wasn't the performance, it was definitely the weight.
It wasn't the performance, it was the weight. So...
That's what's going wrong, isn't it? But that's the new excuse. You did right, actually. That's always for here. I hear that one. I think about it now.
What about What other stuff have you got? Going to ask?
What we're thinking about? What can we say? Frank Warren, Eddie Hearn at the moment. UK scene. Who's got the best camp?
Well, I think the both. It's a bit depleted for both of them, isn't it? They're both trying to get that American money, aren't they?
That's why they've gone over to America, haven't they?
Yeah, that's where it's at. The Americans have regrouped and they've said, right, we're going to make another run with boxing because it's a big sport over there. And the British lads have thought, do you know what? Let's have some of that money. That's what they've thought.
Oh, good for us, though, is it? I prefer standard 10:30. I like, I don't like to get up at all hours. I will, but there's nothing better than watching it at your own time in your own country.
I've had people ring me, right, and said, can Dennis get me into America? Things like that. Right. And I said, well, you have to ask him. I don't know. He probably could, but you'd have to ask him. Dennis is a good mate to Bob Arum, but the way I look at it, right, Bob Arum, you can put fighters to him and he'll only have a certain opinion on a certain few. He'll take certain fighters who are not elite and let them fight on his shows, but they'd have to come with an elite fighter. And Dennis hasn't got any elite fighters, but there is fighters out there that they just want, they've got opinions on themselves, high opinions, and they just want to get some of that money, that American money, and good luck to them. That's what I say. It's a short game, boxing, very short game, yeah.
They do deserve the money, but what's happened though, from even 6 months ago to now, that it was the UK and it's America all of a sudden like that.
Yeah. It's America now. That's where money is now, America.
But it wasn't 6 months ago, was it?
No, it won't.
So something's sadly amiss, really, and like everybody's got to fight in America. Yeah. Because Eddie Hearn goes on about how it's not. They're the most popular sport over there. They don't sell the arenas out like they do here, do they?
Yeah, that's true, that's true.
Why are we over there? Apart from obviously ESPN and all the throwing the money at it, but how long does it last before the bubble bursts again?
I don't know. This is why they all want to jump on it now, don't they? Because sooner or later, something's gonna happen. For every reaction, there's a knee-jerk reaction, isn't there? There's something will happen. And it'll all come to an end, but I don't know. Frank Warren at the moment, he's got more lives than a cat. He could survive a nuclear blast, as somebody once said to me, the cockroach. But good luck to Frank Warren, that's what I say.
Was Frank? No, my dad was telling me before my time, he got shot, Frank, didn't he?
Yeah, somebody shot him, sadly. It's not very nice, is it?
No, I remember my dad was telling me all about that before my time, but he was going on about it. I said, oh yeah, and I remember watching the interview after, and he said, yeah, he was shot, so he has survived quite a lot, hasn't he, really? Yeah,
he's had a lot of problems, hasn't he, Frank, over years, but he's overcome them, so he has to be given respect. Now, he's an hard-nosed businessman, and he doesn't take any shit in boxing, and that's good. That's what I think.
People slag him off, don't they?
Too many people in boxing industry. Too many people. They want to do things on an handshake and be mates. I don't agree with that. I think you should get it down on paper, and then when they start playing up and that, say, listen, you're signing a contract and you're going to stick to it. There's too much of that going on, that matey stuff and all that, and nobody sticks to the word. 99% of the time, not many people stick to the word. People should stick to the word. Frank Warren makes them on a contract, and I agree with that.
Be a man of your word, if you would. That's what it needs to be. The old saying, if you're a man of your word, yeah.
If you've broke the contract, though, well, that's a different kettle of fish.
Frank does take anyone to court, doesn't he?
Anybody takes to court, that's what he does.
He does stand by that contract.
Yeah, but this is why we have a board. We have a board, and they're there to govern the sport. That's what happens now. When Frank Warren picks the phone up at the board and he's got a problem, they bend over backwards to him because he'll sue him. Whereas anybody else, they're a bit lackadaisical when you want them to do something. The British Boxing Board of Control are spineless bastards. Spineless bastards. They've got no backbone whatsoever, unless you're a favourite of theirs.
Actually, mentioning that, one of your videos you put about the guy who wrote a letter,
Yeah, Terry Fox.
What? They have to sanction all these fights, what are here.
Yeah.
They're supposed to have, obviously, the boxer's safety in mind, isn't it?
Yeah.
But obviously they are getting percent of X amount of fights, so where does the loyalty lie?
Yeah, that's true, yeah. Yeah, that's true, yeah. Well, I mean, the Boxing Board of Control, right, all they're bothered about is money. It's an old boys club, right? It's an old boys club full of ex-chief of police, current barristers at the moment. John Reese is a QC, so he does all their legal stuff, doesn't he? So they get that for free. He might put a bill in, he'll get paid for certain work, but it's pretty easy stuff when you've been dealing with murders and fucking drug dealers and all that, dealing with a few contractual issues. So John Reese is their brains behind it. There's another couple of barristers on the board as well. There's also ex-chief of police, Les Potts, who I don't get on with, who is a complete cock. Les Potts, if you're watching, you are a cock. Do you know what I mean? Ex-chief of police. I've got no time for people like that getting involved. I think the board were better when people who were a bit shady ran it. At least they wanted the fights to go on. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Now we've got a mentality where we've got ex-plod calling shots, and we've got Robert Smith, who is two-faced. No, he's two-faced, and it's all going to come out about Robert Smith one day in somebody who I know as book, and I can't wait for it. And he's going to put proof out, and it's going to show you that Robert Smith is a backstabber. He is a backstabber, and he is not to be trusted. And I can't wait for this book to come out. But I can't wait, mate. But yeah, the British Boxing Board of Control are a mess. They're shocking. They're embarrassing, and we need new people to take boxing forward in this country. We need a new governing body, a sanctioning body, whatever it's called. We need people to run it properly, to govern the sport in the UK. We need fighters to be paid on time. We need pensions for fighters or trust funds for them. We need brain scanning equipment at gyms. You know, when people have been sparring, they need to have a scan. We need things like that. And I pull the members of the board at shows about this. They go, oh, when they see me, all you can hear is, it's the board burning rubber to get out of my sight. But that's what I think we need anyway. I think there's some changes I'd make. They're changes I'd make.
It reminds me of in football, the FA.
Yeah, they're spineless fucking bastards, aren't they, as well?
Very much so, you know. You can imagine how it's run, how it is. And as I say, like I say, from promoters down to boards, it all involves money, doesn't it?
Yeah, of course it does, yeah. So
that's the root of all evil, as they say. Yeah. I think it's true, but what about, I tell you what, the Fowler fight versus Fitzgerald, what a great fight. Yeah, great fight.
Hat off to Eddie Hearn, putting two kids in, what, 113-0, 19-0, were it 10-0 or something, I don't know. Yeah. Great fight. I had Fitzgerald winning it by 3 rounds. I don't know what that judge were looking at who had it to Fowler by 2 rounds, even with the knockdown. So without the knockdown, he had it to Fowler by 3 rounds. What planet was he on? I don't know. The guy was on the moon. How could you have a 10-round fight and be giving somebody I don't know, fucking giving it to somebody after 9 rounds? You've got somebody two rounds up or something, or 3 rounds up after 9th round. No, 4 rounds up, because it was a 10-8 the last one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So he's got Fowler 4 rounds up. So Fowler's 4 rounds up after 9 rounds, but he loses the 10th, so he still wins by 2 rounds. Fowler 4 rounds up after 9 rounds. What was that judge's name who had it to Fowler by 2 rounds? Well, he needs investigating him, and he'll be a British judge, eh?
He's not the only one. This is a common theme as well, isn't it? Judges' decisions out of scores. What, like I say, you've got the judges watching, you get 1 every time. What's completely out, and you're thinking, how have they come up with that score? What are they watching?
Unbelievable, mate. Unbelievable.
I'm glad he won though. He deserves.
Do you know if Fowler would have got that decision, or it had been a draw, there would have been a social media fucking meltdown. It would have been in meltdown, mate. It would have been in meltdown, mate. Do you know why? For the simple reason that Fowler's hated, isn't he, on social media? He's hated because
not very liked, is he?
He's not very well liked because he carries off like a gimp. He is a gimp, and he is a helmet. But
might bring him back down to earth, this, to be honest.
Might what?
Might bring him back down to earth. Well, I thought that, and then after I'd seen the interview after the fight, and he said it was a flash knockdown. Did you see that?
Wasn't a flash knockdown, he were gone, mate. He were 2 punches on trot, wasn't it? It were a barrage of punches.
Yeah, he got him down. And he was struggling after when he got up.
Yeah, he was, mate, he was. But that's...
I'll be honest with you, I was like you, it was a fairly decent night of boxing.
Yeah, it was a good night of boxing, it was a good show. And hats off to Eddie Hearn and his dad Bazza for putting it on. And Mr. Bean, hats off to Mr. Bean as well, even though I don't like you and you are a full-time helmet and a gimp and you're unpopular and I don't like you. But, you know, and you're creepy as well. You're creepy, Adam Smith, you are creepy. But, you know, the sooner you get out of boxing, the better. And what I wanted to bring up as well, and what a lot of people are not mentioning, and we've got like 2 minutes left of it, 1 minute 30 left. I'm going to bring up the fact that Adam Smith... 2 seconds.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring up... Oh, that's it, we've got loads of time now. I'm going to bring up the fact that Adam Smith has been talking to DAZN. Now, I'm going to tell you something now. A little story. When Adam Smith were having problems at Sky, he rung Dennis up. Can you get me on at Setanta? Can you get me on at Setanta? I'm not going to say why, but a lot of people know. Now, he were in a contract at Sky. He was trying to get on at Setanta. Now, fair enough. You know, he wasn't getting on with the head man at Sky at the time. Now, let me tell you this. Adam Smith has been trying to get on at DAZN. Now, there's a rumour doing rounds, and it's been strong now for a good couple of weeks, that he could be the man who's fronting it for DAZN in UK, Adam Smith, aka Beanie. He wants a slice of that DAZN money. Bean. Mr. Bean. And let me tell you this, I wouldn't put it past Adam Smith jumping ship, because they were going to jump ship 10 years ago with Setanta. And then he ended up, we all know what happened, they got rid of Chris Brown and he got promotion, Adam Smith, and then he promoted his mates here, there and everywhere, and he's got a bit of power there. But Adam Smith, I know you're watching it, you creepy gimp, you've been talking to DAZN, so why don't you be straight with fans? They mind going on about that American money, as soon as it comes knocking your way, you're gone, you're looking after #1. So don't you make out that you're not Adam Smith, you gimp, you creepy gimp. Backstabbing Sky already, looking after... Adam Smith looks after #1, doesn't he? Mr. Gimp. Gimpville Island, you are.
That's most of. Did you see, I'll agree with what you're saying, you've heard the rumours, because there's a few interviews where, well, there's one where Eddie was asked about, do you think obviously how you're prioritising Sky and DAZN, you need to look after Sky, and he was basically said, well, Sky need me, you know, he was quite arrogant and flippant.
Who was saying that?
Eddie Hearn said Sky need
Sky don't need him. Listen, do you know if Eddie Hearn jacks in with Sky and he goes to DAZN, mate, he'll take the darts, he'll take pool league, Premier League darts, he'll take World Championship darts. They'll take the fucking whole lot. They'll not be bothered. They're businessmen. They are in it for money. They're in it for money. For what they're getting a year off Sky for boxing, 3 million for 20 shows. What's that? 150,000 a show. He's probably spent that money in the first 10 shows.
In first few, yeah. You can easily do it. But I can imagine Adam Smith. I've seen his face when they asked. I don't know if it's boxing social, but obviously, or IFL about the zone coming. Will the zone come to the UK? You could see it on his face. He's thinking Eddie's going to bring the zone to the UK. I might as well beat it, so I can imagine what you're saying is dead right. He'll try and get in there quick, won't he?
Of course he will, yeah. Listen, if Mr. Bean can get a position at DAZN with a contract on mega money, he will take it. He's 50-year-old now, is he, or 45 or something? If he gets the right money, Adam Smith, he could be getting something like 2 million a year. That's like Jamie Redknapp money, innit? If he gets 2 million a year instead of what he's on now, he will be gone if it's a 3 or 4 year deal. Let's say he's sent up. That's what. Life, listen, they're all out for themselves. They are all out. All the lot of them. Johnny Nelson, Spencer Fearon, the lot of them. They're all out. Listen, they all wanted Glenn McCrory gone, didn't they? Because he had a bit of power there, Glenn McCrory. They were all telling tales. He's a pal of mine. They were all telling tales about Glenn McCrory, his extracurriculum activity, curriculum, whatever they call it. Yeah, listen, Glenn likes to go out and let his hair down at night time. Yeah. I ain't got nothing wrong with any man that does that. But what business is it of people who are working in the Sky building, former boxers, to go telling tales about Glenn McCrory, because they all think I won't mind that position that Glenn McCrory's got. Now if Adam Smith does one from there, somebody else is going to want Adam's position, but I can assure you if Adam goes, Johnny Nelson will be like, oh my god, where do I go now? They'll all go where the money is. They will all go where the money is. That's what will happen. It needs freshening up anyway. It's become like an old boys club now, hasn't it, Sky? It's become like an old boys club. It is Gimpville Island, full of gimps and weasels like Spencer Fearon.
How do you feel with Froch on there then?
Well, you know, he's my mate, isn't he? So I'm not going to hammer him. I like him. A lot of people hammer him because he comes out with that 80,000 tweet all the time now. But it got a bit boring at first, and now he just does it just to be dry and that. If you get to know him, he's quite funny, Carl. But if you didn't know him, you'd think you were a dickhead, wouldn't you? Or a gimp. But I know him, so I'm not going to hammer him. His CV, they need his CV on there because he's got credibility, hasn't he, Carl Froch? Yeah. Carl Froch has got credibility.
I do like what he said about Joshua. What did he say? He said he needs to start fighting, you know, the Wilders of this world, you know. I don't think he was happy at Miller fighting. He said something, doesn't he? He sort of gets it in there. He does mention things. He's not like the rest of them, i.e. completely biased.
Oh, Froch.
No.
Listen, go look at Froch's videos, go look at his commentary. He just says it how it is. He said it about Joshua, and then he says, look, I don't want to see him fight Miller, it's a shocker. Yeah, exactly. I want to see him fight Wilder or Fury. And what's wrong with that? You know what I mean? You know, they've got his knuckles up for saying that, but if he wants to fight, if he wants to see certain fights, he's going to say it. Carl doesn't need that job for what they're paying him. He don't need it, but it's free money, innit? You get to go around well, keep yourself active, and there's other opportunities open for you. But he don't need the money from that. The guy is multi-Sufla swimming in Chochai. He's got that many millions. He's got mega millions, mate. Mega millions. And he's quite frugal with his money, so good luck to him. I know you're going to mention about the onion rings, but if he wants to be careful with his money, that's up to him, innit? But he's worked hard to get in that position, and he's had the fights, hasn't he? Back to back. Who else has had him back to back like he has? Come on.
You look at it like the Sky lineup. You know, as I say, he's like I said, usual suspects, isn't it?
Johnny Nelson, WBO, he got a gift. Nazim Ahmed said to Frank Warren, I wanted to get Johnny a belt, so they robbed Carl Thompson in that fight. That's the worst fight decision I've ever seen, stoppage, ever in the history of sport, in the boxing. Johnny Nelson's, he was fighting on undercards, third and fourth down card in other countries with his belt. He's a gimp. I don't rate his record. Matthew Macklin, I rate him, and he got robbed of a world title, so I'll give him a tick. But he didn't win a world title, but he was robbed, so I'll give him a tick. I'd like to see Jamie Moore on there. I rate him as a punter and a fighter. Who else is there? Spencer Fearon, he was a journeyman. Why is he there? Why is he even on there? He's not got no credibility. He's hated by hardcores. He shouldn't have been nowhere near a microphone. Every time he talks about boxing, he always comes out with something like Archie Moore the Mongoose, or George Benton, or Sugar Ray Robinson, or Jack Johnson. He always goes on about black this, black that. He promotes blacks, doesn't he? He should just mention any boxer. Why does he always have to hark back to 100 years ago or 80 years ago? He's a gimp. I don't like him. He just does it for effect. I don't like him whatsoever. Darren Barker, he's married to a secretary at Matchroom, so he's always going to have his foot in there, isn't he?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's an old boys club like Match at Day, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Hey?
Like the FA? Like the
yeah, that's what you've got, innit? Who else is at Sky? Who else is at Sky? Bellew, Eddie Earn's best mate, him who wants to disappear.
Haye sometimes makes an appearance.
David Haye, yeah, David Hayes one at Old Boys there, and he's had more he's had as many pay-per-views as Joshua, hasn't he, or one more. He's rinsed Sky over years. How many fights has David Haye delivered to Sky on pay-per-view that we could say, what a fight from David Haye, what a great fight?
No.
How many's Joshua had? One against Vladimir, one.
Yeah.
Who else has Joshua fought and you say that's a great fight, that's worth the money? None. How many's David Haye had? None. Yeah, Macaronelli knocked him out. That were on Satanta. How many's Froch had? Froch has had all his free pay-per-views were barnstormers. All 3 of them. 2 Groves fight and a Keslet rematch. All barnstormers. 3 out of 3, baby. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Who else has delivered? Did Scott Quigg deliver? No?
No. No, Scott Quigg, actually. He's another one disappeared, hasn't he?
Disappeared, hasn't he? You know what I mean?
Yeah, Scott Quigg, you know.
He's sponsored by crayons, isn't he? He's gone off somewhere with a box of crayons.
Kid Galahad.
Warrington, that's a great fight. I think that's a great fight. I think it could be a banana skin for Carl Frampton, but I think he'll wear him now. It's too much ferocity to him. But 2 undefeated kids going at it. You got to give Frank Warren credit. Do you know what I mean? And Sky, to think that Sky didn't want the fight. Oh my God. They didn't bid on it, did they? Or they put a low ball and bid in or something. Eddie Hearn's never won a purse bid in his life, mate. When has Eddie Hearn ever won a purse bid?
I don't know.
They don't win purse bid, do they? Matchroom don't win purse bid. They don't invest in fighters. They've got the EIS up here. They give him the fighters. Sky give him the platform. They don't invest in fighters. How many world champions have they had now? They've had quite a few now. Eddie's had 5, hasn't he? And his dad's had 1. His dad had ABI. They invested in him £250 a week. So we'll tick him off for ABI, and they cashed him in first defence. Joshua and Yafai from GB team, and Callum Smith and Charlie Edwards. Eddie's had 4, hasn't he? From the GB team. No, he's not had none off at street like ABI, like his dad had.
No.
How many's Dennis Hobson had? Jamie McDonnell, he had him, hadn't he? Carl Thompson. No. Who else?
Stuart Hall, did he have him from
Stuart Hall, Clinton Wood. He didn't have Stuart Hall from the beginning, he had Clinton Woods from the beginning. He had Jamie McDonnell coming back off 2 losses and a draw. 8-2-1 when he turned up. Carl Thompson, he didn't have him from debut. He had Clinton from debut, but he had McDonnell off losses. But none of them were in GB team. None of them. Eddie's had 4 from GB team. If you can't deliver a world title from a guy who's been to Olympics or been Worlds or Commonwealths, who's won medals and all that, there's something wrong. Callum Smith were nailed on. Edwards were nailed on. Joshua and Yafai, all nailed on. Couldn't do it with Eubank, could he? He not done it with John Ryder yet. They're not from, were they from GB today? I'm not sure, but I think that it's nailed on when you've been Olympics or you've been in GB team. I want to see him take somebody off the street, you know what I mean, and take him to a world title from debut like his dad did with Herbie, like Mick Hennessy did with Froch and Tyson Fury. That's what I want to see.
How do you think now then? What about, obviously, boxing heading back to America, supposedly, with all these big deals? It opens the door, surely, then, for some of the lesser-known promoters to try and get a bit of a foothold, you know, if everything's out in America.
Yeah, it does, yeah. It's opening the door now for Dennis Hobson, my guy who I work with, Dennis, my pal. Right. There's phone's been ringing off at Hook last couple of weeks, and we're really busy. We're really busy, busier than we've ever been. And the 4 years I've been with Den, we're busier than ever now. And things are looking good. He's got the dates. He's got a bit of backing, so it's looking good. If you, but the only kids Dennis is going to get are people who Warren and Hearn don't want. They're going to be the unlovables, aren't they? The unwanteds.
There might be a few now though, because it's like if they're all heading out to America and you don't get the deal like the rest of them, they might start thinking, well, let's look here. It might be good. It might be good actually.
Yeah, we could get. You never know. You know, there's a couple of announcements next week, so it's all looking good. It's all looking really.
It opens up a bit, doesn't it, for everybody else? You know, if Eddie goes with his contract 2 years time, yeah. You can imagine in 2 years' time, I won't be surprised if DAZN are here. It'd probably be cheaper than Sky because they'll have to do it mass subscription. You know, you never know, it might be a benefit to us fans.
It might be, mate. You never know, do you? I mean, DAZN, they're obviously worried, Sky, aren't they, now? And Adam Smith's there. Adam Smith's not making enough noise. This is how I know from what I'm hearing. Adam Smith's not kicking up that much of a force because he's in on it with him. He wants to be with DAZN, doesn't he? Mark my words, you watch this, listen, watch this space, mate. Watch this space, listen to your Uncle Porky. Adam Smith's going to try his best to get some of that DAZN money, just like the rest of them. If the boxers are thinking about the American money, trust me, the pundits are. I can assure you now, sure as eggs are eggs, and they won't be fucking bothered one iota when the pillar touches, the head touches pillar at night. They won't be bothered one iota, mate. I can assure you of that for nothing. If Adam Smith and Johnny Nelson can get that DAZN money, although to be fair, I ain't heard anything about Johnny, but I've heard rumblings that Adam Smith's a bit cosy with him and blah de blah. So we're gonna see now, aren't we? We're gonna see.
Do you not think it might be, you know, for us fans, it might be a benefit that if they do come here and they charge the Americans, what, $100 for the year, and they get all the content we get plus the pay-per-views, then it would be beneficial that it is here. If they charged us roughly around that price, it'd be worth a subscription, wouldn't it? Because you could pay that in 3 or 4 pay-per-views, plus you get the rest.
Yeah, I think it'd be well worth it, mate, wouldn't it? I think it'd be well worth it. You are?
I'd be quite happy with that.
Yeah, I think it'd be well worth it, mate. Well worth it.
Because all you hear is Adam Smith, when he gets pushed on these issues, and I'm a big football fan, he refers to, we've got the football, we've got the darts, we've got the golf, the gymnastics. I'm like, I don't care about that. I'm talking boxing.
Why are we going on about gymnastics, Mr. Bean?
Well, he did say it, didn't he? It wasn't just
King Bean. He's there again, isn't he? Baked bean, runner bean, should have been, could have been, Mr. Bean. Jesus, he needs a backhander, doesn't he? Go on, get out of it, get out of it, Adam Smith. You know what I mean? Hey?
I tell you what though, he is a politician. When he gets answered, he flips the question back round. And just goes on about something else.
Yeah.
You know, he is a politician. I think on one of your videos said he went to Eton and all that, and he's good mates with Boris and whoever. And you can see he has got that mentality. He is a politician the way he answers questions. He doesn't answer the question.
Yeah, that's true, mate. That's true.
He's got it off to a T, hasn't he? Because he didn't want to be pushed on it. But I think he'll be panicking. Yeah, but maybe it's good for us fans. You know, if we do have a bit of options. You know.
Yeah.
Because at the moment, you're not looking at. I know they keep flooding the American content to us. We've got the American content. We've got this. We've got that. But I just want to see the big fights here. You know, that's what I want to see as a fan. I don't be getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning. You know, staying up all night. I want to see the fights. You know, because as I say, boxing was only here 6 months ago. Now it's. I don't know what's happening in 6 months, like I said to you before, but it's all there again.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Yeah. You're right. No, you're right, mate. You're right. So, right. Well, listen, I'm going to get off and get me tea. So, listen, nice to speak to you, Scott. We've had a good 2 hours, haven't we? Or nearly 2 hours.
I'll tell you what, I better get some work done in a minute.
All right, mate. Well, listen, all the best to you and your family, Scott, and peace out. Keep on trucking, pal.
Catch up soon.
Cheers, mate. Bye-bye. Bye.
Cheers, pal. Bye-bye.
That was Scott Simmons from Morecambe. He lives just right corner from Tyson Fury. Hardcore boxing fan there, very, very hardcore. And we've had a good chat. We've touched on some good topics. We've hammered a few people. I'm in an hammering mood today, and they need hammering because British boxing's not #1 no more, is it? It's not where it's at. The fights are not getting made. Fighters are thinking about the bank balances, which is good, more than the fights. It's black or white though. We've got to be more in grey areas. I want to see better fights. I want to see the top guys fighting the top guys. I want to see Yarde, Kovalev, Tyson Fury rematch Wilder. I want to see Joshua against Dillian Whyte. Those are the top 4 heavyweights in the world. They could have a round robin, all of them guys. That's what I want to see. I know I've given Dillian Whyte a bit of stick for not fighting Joshua, but if he can pick up pay-per-view fighting substandard guys, why should he fight Joshua? But if they told Dillian Whyte, listen Dillian, you're not pay-per-view, you're Sky non-pay-per-view, either have that or non-pay-per-view or fight Joshua. They've been that good to Dillian Whyte, he's took kindness as a weakness. Now, yeah, I know I'm not in the ring taking the punches and blah blah blah, but 90,000 people at Wembley for 4 belts, the heavyweight championship of the world, baby. Rematch with a guy you don't like. That is intense beef. But you're sat in cold now. Well, what's Dillian, 6 months out of fight now, is he? 5-6 months, and I ain't got one lined up. I know for a fact Eddie Hearn were fuming when Dillian were talking to other people, and too right. But if he's not giving him a deal, what can you do? I don't know, but it is what it is. I want to see Yarde Kovalev, but what can you do? So peace out. Keep on trucking. Keep supporting boxing. It's a fantastic sport. Alright? Fantastic sport. Now I'm off to get my tea now. So it's getting late. So peace out.